don't know. There it goes. Gabby, thank you. Okay, here we go. We're ready. You guys ready? Okay. Woo! All right. Thank you, Gabby. I know I hit record, but something, who knows, whatever. All right. Like we say, anybody can do Arbonne. You do not have to be super tech savvy, apparently. Okay, so I was just saying thank you all for being on tonight. I really appreciate it. You're actually showing up. You're being what you want to be for your business, and that is something that is a little clue to what we're going to talk about. I don't know how many of you guys really know my story or my journey. I'm not going to go deep into it, but I have been with Arbonne for 14 years. I'm an executive regional vice president. My sponsor is ERVP Andrea Romigo. She is there, but she's just not on screen. And I am going to share a little bit with you as it pertains to the training later on about how I was introduced to Arbonne, and it'll make sense in just a minute. So the inspiration for this training, you guys, it actually came from a conversation that I had like 7 or 8 years ago with someone who I met at Aries in Paradise at an Aries in Paradise training. Has anybody else, I know Jean's been to Aries in Paradise, Athena, you've been, Andrea's been, some of you have been. So Donna Johnson, I don't know with the way things are right now, how this will go, but she's kind of always done this Aries in Paradise thing where area managers at Up could go. And this was years ago. I met someone, it was my very first one, and I met a girl, Leslie Hip. Some of you might know her. I think she's an MVP now, but I met her there, okay? And then she became an RVP before me, and I called her up one day, and I'm pretty sure, I know Andrea is listening, but I'm pretty sure Andrea was on this call, and Andrea actually encouraged me to call her. She said, you know, I don't know, I mean, y'all, sometimes, you know, we are poured into by our upline and sponsors and all that. But sometimes, Andrea said, you know, sometimes we need inspiration from other people. Why don't you just call her? And because I was like, oh, what do I do to be a regent? I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm doing all the stuff. I'm doing. And it's not happening. And I was just like, I want the magic. What's the magic? Right, Ian? You've talked about this before. What's the magic? What's the secret sauce? And so I called her. Her name's Leslie. I called her up. I was like, Leslie, listen, girl, congratulations. You know, I'm so happy for you, but tell me what the magic is. Like, what can I do different to become a regional vice president? How did you do it? You know, what's the secret? And she said, be plus do equals have. And I was like, wait, what? Like, what? Like, that made no sense to me. I thought it was like VP speak that I didn't have, you know, like I wasn't privy to yet. So I was just like, wait, what are you talking about? She's like, B plus sign, DO, do, equal sign, HAVE. B plus do equals have. And I was like, okay, whatever, you know. And we talked a little more and I kind of got it. But y'all, I really didn't get it. I got it in my head, but I didn't get it in my heart for a really long time. So finally, after kind of beating my head against the wall for a little while, I realized that the B was first for a reason in that equation. Have y'all ever heard that equation? Has anybody ever heard it besides Andrea? No? Have you, Lauren, you've heard it, Lauren Rose, Amber? Well, you might have heard it from me. Yen and Gabby, had y'all heard that from me? Like, Yen, have you heard it? Okay. So B plus do equals have. So we all know how to do Arbonne, or if you're new, you've got a sponsor to show you how, or a coach, or a team, a guide, mentors, sidelines. There's a ton of stuff on our website, verbiage. We all know how to do Arbonne, right? We reach out, we find people to talk to, we talk to them, we find out where they fit. That's it, pretty much in a nutshell, okay? So, you know, with this is a mindset training tonight, and it's not super long, so don't worry, we're not going to be here forever, but it has a different twist. I'm not going to give you a ton of resources because we have those on our team website. We've got this amazing little button called personal growth. So I'm not going to give you I'm not going to give you a book to read, nothing like that, okay? But what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the do, D-O, in that equation. So for me, for years, I did it backwards. I'm sorry, we're going to focus on the B. I said that wrong. For me, I focused on the do. I'm really coachable. Andrea will tell you. I am My nickname growing up was Polly Perfect, not always said in a nice way. I always made A's. I'm a people pleaser. I always did the right thing except for like a little side note that might come into my story, maybe not. But pretty much, my husband jokes and all the time, and he's like, "You're such a rule follower." And I'm like, I thought that was a good thing. So I know how to do the do in Arbonne. So I was doing the do, you guys. I definitely was doing probably more than, I'm not going to say more than a regional vice president necessarily, but I was doing what I was taught to do. And I would say pretty much doing the do. Okay. But I just didn't really understand how to focus on the B, maybe, or just kind of didn't get it. Okay, I used to think that just making a vision board and doing affirmations was the B. And those are super important because having a vision board, do you guys have vision boards? I know some of you do. Yeah. So if you have a vision board, you're reading, like, gosh, all of us, we say leaders are readers. So we're all reading the 10 pages a day. Affirmations, I have a whole notebook of affirmations. Like, I do that stuff too. Okay. So please don't, here comes my cat. Please don't misunderstand me. I'm not going to tell you those things aren't important, because they're super important, because they're going to help you to visualize where you want to be, or what you want to be, or who you want to be with Arbonne, or what you want your life to look like. And that's important. And I can look at my vision boards, some of the past ones, and I'm like, that's so cool. That's come true. That's come true. That's come true. So vision boards and affirmations, super important. Okay. But there's another piece to the puzzle, and that's what I'm going to share a little bit with you and give you a couple of to-do things that you can do, like tonight, just write down really quickly to help you kind of figure this out. And that is, who are you being right now in your business? Who are you being? Okay. So again, remember, B is the first part of the equation. So for me, again, I thought that if I worked enough and I did enough, that was enough. But who I was being was getting in the way. Okay. Now, it's not like I didn't have a lot of signs along the way. It's not like, oh, it's not like this is brand new to me. It's just that finally I feel like pieces are coming together for me. And y'all, everybody's journey is different. And I finally feel like pieces are coming together for me with this piece, so that I'm like, I get it. And I mean, I get it to the core, to my core of like, oh, that's what she meant all those years ago. I remember Andrea used to say to me, she would say things like, I'm sorry that she's not here to like affirm this, but I promise you she's shaking her head. She would say things to me like, there she is. Thanks, Andrea. She would say things to me like, you seem really like stressed. And I would be like, I'm not stressed. And she was like, I'm pretty sure that you're stressed. And I'd say, but it's not coming across to people. Like, I totally, like, I've got this. I've cut, my prospect said they're not seeing that. And she'd be like, yeah, they are. Like, they get it. They're trust me. So that was something that I had to really kind of figure out, like, in terms of where I wanted to go, which was at the time regional vice president. Now it's national vice president, right? And so wherever it is you want to go, right? And lots of other people wanting to go to nation and wanting to go to region and wanting to go wherever you want to go. What I didn't understand, and what I feel like I'm coming to understand, and you guys, by no means am I perfect. I'm working on this still every single day. What I'm coming to understand is that I gotta be it before I get there, right? I have to act as if I'm acting like what I want to be. So I have a couple of questions. And I want to just throw this in there really quickly. Many times in my business, another one from Andrea, she would ask me, in fact, recently she had to ask me this. She would say, what would a national vice president do? I actually had a bracelet that had WW, it wasn't WWJD, but it was like WWENVPD. What would an executive national vice president do? Because if I want to be that, then I have to be like that. I have to almost be my way into it. Does that make sense, you guys? The doing is going to come if you're being. Duh. If you say, if you're being the kind of Arbonne consultant that you want to be, then you're going to be doing the do. Because for me, that meant being the kind of consultant that showed up, that was committed, that was whatever, okay? So I really think that the whole reason why some people go faster, not that it matters, and we all know, do not compare your journey, because when you get into comparison, that's the thief of joy. And being joyful is one thing I want in my life and in my business. I don't know about you guys. That's one of the things I wrote down, being joyful. So this is not to compare, but I really, really have been thinking this for a long time and watching this and watching it with people. I think that the reason some people just go faster is because they're already there in their head. They don't have, it's not a huge leap for them to be that person. Does that make sense? Okay, so y'all have a pen and paper. Hopefully, if you don't, you can do this later or whatever. So the first question that I want to ask you guys is, maybe you can write this down if you want, but who or what do you want to be in your business? And it could even be that you think of someone that you like, that you kind of admire, that's sort of a template for you. And I don't just mean, I want to be an executive national vice president. I mean, who do you want to be? How do you want to be? Does that make sense? Yeah? Anybody want to share? Come on, don't be shy. And I have more, so don't worry. Go, Gabby.
I'll share. You would know exactly what I'm going to put. The first person that came to mind is Stuart Armfield, because I'm obsessed with him. And if you've been in Arbonne for like a month, you probably know this about me. But like, I literally have told him at GTC, like, I love you. But I just love his energy. He's like, he loves his team so hard, and he's so inclusive and just fun. And I think like that's just so attractive to me. And I think that it brings people like that into your business that are like fun and inclusive and awesome.
Yes, you can write the questions in there too. Oh, me write the questions in there.
I can type
girl.
them up while you say them, Polly.
What's that?
I can type the questions in the box while you say them.
Okay, so the first question, it's not a lot of questions, so don't worry. But the first one is just, who or what do you want to be in your Arbonne business? So meaning, how do you want to be? Who do you want to be? What do you want to be? And again, this is not like, oh, you got to figure this out right now. These are questions that have helped me to kind of hone in, because I think the first step is to decide how you want to be. And then I've got sort of a second part to this, and that is decide what you value. So I'm going to tell you some of the things that I wrote down about what I value. Okay, what are some of my values? And y'all, this is not just in Arbonne, it's in life. But if you can align yourself, if you can get in alignment with what you want and what your values are and live in alignment, you're going to be in a pretty good state of being. You're going to be pretty joyful, pretty grateful, hopefully, depending on what yours are. I would think everyone on this call would be grateful, joyful, all those things. Okay, for me, I wrote down, here's some things I did when I had this exercise presented to me. I wrote down, for my values, I wrote authenticity. I want to be authentic. I wrote down kindness, loyalty, because I'm a really loyal person, commitment, doing what I say I'm gonna do, honesty, integrity. And I wrote some more, but those are some of the main ones. Anybody want to share something they wrote for values?
Can I share?
Yes.
For mine, it would be brave, because I've spent my entire life living in what I call a prison of fear. So for me, being brave is really important. And loyal. I'm loyal almost to a fault. And then fun, because it's really, because of the fear that I live in, it's very hard sometimes to have fun. So right. I would like to have fun in my business as well. And those are things I value.
Awesome. Anybody else want to share values? All right. This is your chance.
Sorry, I have one, if I
Okay.
can just add one. Teachable.
I love that. Teachable is great. Awesome. So I want to share the story. I'm going to go back for a minute and I'm going to share the story of how I was introduced to Arbonne by Andrea, who is listening. So, and then I'm going to kind of wrap this up because I'm going to kind of, we've got one more point that we're going to do, which is going to kind of bring it all together. Okay. And it is basically the last thing is once you kind of know what your values are and how you want to be and do, it's how can you live into that? How can you be that, right? Because then the do part, again, we all know. So let me share something with you because I think it really illustrates to me how I was shown right away what it was like to be authentic and genuine and brave. I like that you said brave because this was brave. So I was teaching a body pump class, you guys, 14 years ago. And Andrea and her husband Atticus were in my class. And after class, so I'm on a stage. Let me set the stage for you. I'm up higher. Yeah, I know I'm short, but I'm up higher on a stage with a microphone on. I'm the instructor of the class. After class, Andrea came up to me with this little gold bag full of product and said, "Hey, I brought you something. It's anti-aging." And so I want to tell you some things I remember from that very first meeting. I want you first to know I did not know her well. I knew who she was. I knew who Atticus was because he was a reporter on Fox 6 News. So I knew who they were. And they were participants in class and they were regulars, pretty regular. So I kind of knew her. But this is important. First, who was she being? She came up to me with a big smile on her face and she was being brave. Because y'all, even though y'all know I'm not intimidating, she didn't know that. She didn't know, I mean, like I would, and think about, put yourself in that situation, if you're like, oh, I'm gonna go up to the instructor after class and I'm gonna talk to him, So she came up to me and she was brave. She was smiling. So I thought she was nice. Her skin freaking glowed, and I'm not talking about the sweat, okay? So she was being authentic. And then she showed me throughout the time that we continued our conversation with Arbonne that she was committed, that she knew what she was doing. She knew where she was going. Maybe not what she was doing, but she knew where she was going with this. She took it seriously. So she was being Arbonne. She was being who, I respected that, And so from day one, I feel like I had a really good experience with being shown what it's like to be, and then do the do, if that makes sense to everybody. So again, like this is sort of part of a training that I'm going to do next weekend. So hopefully y'all are going to get enough of it for it to make sense. But once you kind of have a clear vision of who you really want to be. So I'm going to just use a couple of examples to make this, to bring this home. So let's say you wrote down, I want to be a committed Arbonne consultant. So what do you do to make that happen? You commit. You show up. So kudos to all of you because you did. That's so amazing. So we all know that commitment is doing what you said you were going to do long before the feeling you said it in, long after the feeling you said it in has passed, right? Y'all heard that? Commitment is doing what you said you're going to do long after the feeling you said it in has passed. And how many things like that in our life are there that are probably way harder? We've committed to so many way harder things in our life than Arbonne, you guys. So, again, kudos to you if you just showed up for this because it is not that much out of your life. And like Cecilia Stoll always says, treat your Arbonne business like you would your baby. And when you have your baby or your fur baby or whatever you've got, you don't look at it and go, well, we'll see how it goes. If you don't poop on me, maybe I'll keep you. No, you commit. You're like, okay, we're in this for life. my daughter like called me the other night crying, and I was crying too because she was crying because I'm committed to her because I love her. And we were like, you know, we're connected, we're committed. So that's one thing. So if you say, hey, I want to be a committed person, I am a committed person, then commit. How you do anything is how you do everything. And that's something that I think I first heard maybe from Andrea, but I've heard it over and over, right? How you do anything is how you do everything. So you guys, it is so important. If you want to build a strong Arbonne business, to do what you say you're going to do, to commit, okay? If you decide that you want to be authentic, if that's important to you, then use the products. Be authentic. Be who you say you are. There's a lot of other things I could say about that one, but I'm not going to go there. But be an Arbonne representative. Represent Arbonne health and wellness, okay? I had a couple of others, but I want to, for the sake of time, I've got something to close up with and then just kind of leave it open for questions. Hopefully that kind of made sense, the whole B plus do equals have, and what being means, what the B part is. There's so many things that you can do to kind of help you with the B part. I mean, and that's something we have a lot of resources on. One of the things I do is I now have a habit tracker. And I'm tracking habits that I think I need to have to be a national vice president. If you want me to share the habit tracker with you, I'm happy to. I actually paid for it to download it, and I use it, and I use colored pencils, and I do it every morning, and it's really fun because it's colored pencils and it's pretty. And now I can look back and I can see things that I'm trying to improve on. The one I'm doing the absolute worst is with my phone, absolute worst, to the point where I'm thinking about, hey, maybe I'll just change that one, not even try to change that habit, because but I'm doing good on a lot of other ones, you know. So there are some things I do. Of course, we all know reading, mindfulness, you know, meditation, that kind of thing. Spending time in the morning with my vision and with my values and deciding this is who I want to be. And so I want to step into that. I want to be a leader, so I'm going to lead, you know? So there's some definite things, but I thought I would end with a really quick story about something that happened to me like yesterday, the day before. So, because when you're clear on your vision and who you want to be and your values and all the being part, then it's just really easy to make certain decisions. Okay. So someone approached me, a friend of mine has joined another company, another network marketing company. And we were talking and I had said, you know, that's great. I'm so excited for you. And she said, yeah, you know, this would line up really well with what you do because, you know, it's also like health and fitness, and it's not in any way a conflict. And, you know, we were told that, you know, a lot of, you know, Arbonne and other reps and your kind of, you know, I don't want to say the other company are doing this too, because it's such a good fit. Would you want to join my team? And I said, now do not get me wrong. I believe that we all can have many other things going on, but this was probably the easiest thing ever for me to answer. And I'll tell you how I answered it. I said, oh my goodness, that is so kind. Thank you so much for thinking about me. That's really flattering, and I appreciate so much that you asked, and I really want to support you in other ways with your business. But here's the thing. I'm committed to my Arbonne business, and I feel like if I started another network marketing business, even if it was okay to do like by the rules, that would really be confusing for my clients and confusing for my team and confusing for myself, because I decided that I was going to build this business, and I don't think that would be authentic, you know? And she was so kind and nice about it, of course, but you guys, when you're clear, it's an easy decision to you know, for certain things. And it's easy to decide as well on your daily activities and all the other things. So hopefully that was helpful. It's 8 o'clock, 7:59. I did want to leave time for questions if you have any. Yes, I will I can post the habit tracker for you guys. That's certainly easy. And yeah, y'all can give me feedback personally if you don't mind. I would love that because I'm going to be doing it again on Saturday, and it will be a little more together, and I have some slides that I'm going to do. But thank you guys so much for listening. I hope it was inspirational.
Thank you, Polly. That was so good.
Thanks.
So many notes.
Any questions? Okay. No? It's so light where you are, Yen. All right.
It's 6 o'clock on the West Coast.
6 o'clock. I'll stop.